So, you got a home under contract, and now you're wondering what happens next. Today we're going to walk through exactly what happens after a seller accepts your offer on a home, step by step, here in Maryland. A lot of buyers think once their offer is accepted, everything just magically moves towards closing. But there are actually a lot of moving steps happening behind the scenes. So let's break it down. One of the very first things that happens after a seller accepts your offer is ratification of the contract. This means both the buyer and the seller have signed the contract, and it's now officially legal and binding. At this point, everyone is held to the terms of the contract. The price, the timelines, the contingencies, and all of the negotiated details. Once the contract is ratified, the clock officially starts ticking. Next, the ratified contract is sent to your lender and the title company. The title company begins doing what's called the title work. They research the property's ownership history, make sure the seller actually has the legal right to sell the home, and check for any liens, unpaid taxes, judgments, or claims against the property. Their job is to make sure when you buy the home, you're getting clear ownership and that no one can come back later claiming rights to it. They also open the escrow file, which is where your earnest money and closing funds will eventually be handled. After that, you'll submit your earnest money deposit. This is the money that shows the seller you're serious about moving forward. In Maryland, this money is usually held in an escrow account with your agent's brokerage or the title company, not given directly to the seller. Most contracts require that the earnest money be deposited within the first 7 days after ratification. But this can change depending on what was negotiated in the contract. It's important to know that you can lose your earnest money if you walk away for a reason that isn't protected by the contract. For example, getting cold feet or simply changing your mind. That's why I always tell my clients to make sure they're truly ready before submitting offers. Next comes your due diligence period, which usually includes a home inspection contingency. Most buyers request about 7 days to complete inspections, but that time frame can be longer or shorter depending on the situation. During this period, you're allowed to access the home with licensed inspectors. After inspections are complete, you have options. You can move forward as is, request repairs or credits, or walk away if the contract allows. Not all contracts include a home inspection contingency. But unless my client is a licensed contractor, I almost always recommend getting a home inspection. To find an inspector, you can ask your realtor for recommendations, ask friends or family members who recently purchased, or research licensed inspectors online. Once inspections are completed, the lender orders the home appraisal. Many lenders wait until after inspections because you pay for the appraisal and they want to be sure you're moving forward before charging you. Some lenders require payment up front, while others allow payment at closing. Even if payment isn't required until closing, if the appraisal is completed and you walk away, you're still responsible for that cost. The appraiser visits the property, compares it to similar homes recently sold in the area, and determines whether the home is worth the amount the bank is lending. If the home appraises at or above the contract price, you move forward. If it appraises below, your agent will go back to the seller with the appraisal and negotiate. In many cases, the seller agrees to lower the price to the appraised value. Sometimes buyers can get lucky and the home appraises for higher than the contract price, which means instant equity. At this point, your loan is deep into underwriting. This is the stage that makes a lot of buyers nervous, and that's completely normal. The underwriting team may request bank statements, pay stubs, or letters explaining deposits, inquiries on your credit report, address changes, or large purchases. Even if you've already submitted documents, they may ask for them again. This part of the process is normal in how a lender protects themselves. Around this same time, the title company will contact you directly. They'll ask for information like your social security number, how you want to take title, and how your name should appear on the deed. This could be sole ownership, joint ownership, or other legal ways to hold the title. They'll make sure everything is spelled and structured exactly how you want it. Once underwriting is satisfied, you'll receive what's called a clear to close. This is exciting, but this is also the time where you want to keep everything exactly the same. Don't buy furniture, don't buy a car, don't open new credit, and don't change jobs. Even after clear to close, lenders will re-verify employment and may recheck credit. So it's important to keep things stable until after closing. Next is your final walkthrough. This usually happens the day before closing or the day of closing. I personally like to schedule it as close to closing as possible. The purpose of the final walkthrough is to walk the property one last time before signing your name on a dotted line and make sure nothing unfortunate has happened to the home. You're confirming the home is in the same condition it was in when you agreed to purchase it and that any negotiated repairs were completed. You're not redoing inspections, you're just making sure there wasn't a fire, a flood, or any major damage before you officially close. Then, at least 3 days before closing, you'll receive your closing disclosure. The closing disclosure breaks down your loan terms, interest rates, monthly payment, closing costs, and the exact amount of money you need to bring to the closing table. This gives you time to review everything and ask any questions before closing. Now, it's time to sign. Closing can take place at a title company, with a mobile notary, with a real estate attorney, or sometimes remotely depending on the transaction. You'll sign a lot of documents. This part usually surprises people. Once everything is signed and the loan is funded, the transaction is officially complete. You're handed the keys and you can immediately take possession of your new home. And just like that, you're officially a homeowner. If you're thinking about buying a home this year and you want someone to walk you through this process step by step, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to help you figure out what your next move should be. Bye.